All right, sorry we're late. I'm such a late person usually all the time, but we've been pretty on time with this. Little bit of technical difficulties. So anyways, we are here ready to do a sea turtle. So I'm super excited to do this with you. My name's Laurie Rothwell, and I'm here with pieces of my art. Actually, I'm here in my dining room. Pieces of my art. The location is back behind my house. But anyways, we're here today to do a sea turtle with you, and this is going to be a lot of fun. So welcome everybody. If you're here for the first time, just make sure you say hello. If you are here and you've been here before, I still want to hear from you and say hello. Looking forward to doing this. Make sure you share. You can share this with anybody else that you know of that might like to do these classes. And so we're going to get started here since we're kind of running a little behind, so I can just like take a deep breath. I went grocery shopping and I just got home, unloaded stuff, and then came in here, and then we're having some issues with getting everything ready to run here. So we're going to get started, and I'm going to jump over in my seat so Caden can sit there. Adrian, welcome. You're 6. You're going to have so much fun with us. Welcome, Adrian. Glad you joined us today. All right, Caden, we good? All right. Tara's here with your kids, and JC and Kenzie are here, of course, doing sea turtles. Okay, so sea turtles is absolutely a favorite one. This is going to be one of my favorites. So we go to a favorite place on vacation. We've gone the last couple of years. Caden got to go with us, not this February, but the February before. And hey, April. So we go to an island for vacation. It's called Roatan, and it's an island off of Honduras. So where we go, we stay. My sister and her husband own a place there, so we stay with them, and we have so much fun. And we can go right down to the ocean, and we can snorkel right off of the dock at their property, and we see sea turtles. And actually 2 years ago when we brought Caden with us, he saw sea turtles. I never saw any that time. And so I was like, man, I want to see one. I saw it from the dock or there were several of them, wasn't there, Caden? More than one, wasn't there? They would pop their head up out of the water and you'd see them. They were fairly close to where we were at. And then we'd go out and snorkel, and I never did see them. But this last year, when my husband and I went, we would see, there was one smaller one that would swim fairly close to the dock, and we'd see him a couple times. And then when we'd swim out to where the reef was, there was one huge sea turtle that always in the same place. So we'd always pass him as we went out, and he was down at the bottom, huge, probably the size. Well, I'm going to put my arms out. I don't know if you'll see. So probably if you could hug something, without your fingers touching, and you could hug it, that was probably at least how big that shell was, or the back of that sea turtle. And he'd just be hanging out down there at the bottom of the ocean, probably maybe 20 feet below us. So anyways, so we're going to I was looking for different pictures, and this will be really fun with watercolor. And if there's grown-ups on here that paint, give me a heart if the grown-ups are painting as well, because this one is going to be great for all ages for this. We already know the kids do awesome, so it's just a matter of building up the confidence of you grown-ups on this one. Okay, so we have heavy paper for this, thicker than copy paper, because we're using Sharpie, and we're also using watercolor. And so we want heavy paper that will be able to deal with wet media. So since we're doing watercolor, if you were using copy paper, it would just really soak into the paper, and it would start tearing it apart. You're going to rewatch for sure, Mackenzie? Okay, good deal. All right, I'll hold you up to it, and I expect to see your sea turtle picture. All right, so we have Sharpies, and the reason I do Sharpies is whenever I taught kids drawing when they first start out, it's always good to be able to know that you can draw without having to feel like you have to erase everything. It builds up your confidence. We don't worry about mistakes. We don't worry about being perfect. We just draw and we draw and we draw and we draw and we get better and better and better. Even to this day, I'm not a perfect artist or perfect at drawing things. I make mistakes. I don't always like everything I do, but you know what? We go with it. We have fun, and that's what this is about. All right, so we're going to do a sea turtle, and I want to do an angle where, from my viewpoint, like snorkeling, where we're looking down into the water and we see the sea turtle down at the bottom. Okay, so we're going to start with a shell, and I want to have some room. I don't want them super big. My paper's not really big, so I want room to have water around them because this will be great for watercolor techniques. I would say, Kaden, when we get drawn, do you want to go get some salt? I think we'll put salt on the blue part of the water when we do that. We won't do it on the sea turtle, but we will on the salt. Okay, so we're going to start with the sea turtle's body. All right, so I'm going to have them kind of angled a little bit across my paper. So the head's going to be not right directly up in the corner, but a little bit below the right corner. So I'm thinking if you draw a line right across the center with your finger and come through, so you know kind of the angle you want the shell. So that's what we're going to start with. So I'm going to make a straight line kind of where the neck is. This is not a good Sharpie, it doesn't look like. Okay. So that's where a little bit of where his neck's going to come out. I actually could probably curve just a little bit. I guess I could have curved it. So just kind of a slight curve. All right, so now I want to round my shell out. And this is how you're going to determine how big your sea turtle is. You can make him big. You can use up all your paper if you want to. Okay, so now I want to try to copy this same curve of this line going this way. So that way at least it's symmetrical. Symmetrical means if you folded it in half, and mine is not symmetrical, but if you folded it in half, it would be the same on both sides, which you can tell right here it's not. But we're not going to get worried about all those perfect things. Okay, so there's a pattern on a sea turtle shell. Okay, I don't know if they're all different, but we're going to follow a little bit of, we're going to make all these, because the shell curves down, you don't see the full pattern of it along the edges, but we're going to make, it's almost like a mosaic. So I'm going to make all these little curves that come out from the edge of my shell and just goes up a little ways, about the width of a pencil. They don't quite touch, so there's a little bit of a gap in between them. And I'm just going to outline all the way around my turtle's shell with this. And you can even go around the neck area with that same thing. I had a better picture of a turtle and it never, I was trying to send it to my computer and it wouldn't do it. So that was kind of where my my technical problems were trying to get us on here. So anyways, I had this other picture I want to look at, so I did grab one real quick. Okay, so now we're going to start with the shape that's on his back. So it's almost like, what's a six-sided? Does anybody know what a six-sided shape is, Caden? A pentagon is five sides. Is a hexagon, is that six? If anybody knows what a six-sided shape is, tell me. So first thing is I'm going to make this shape around, and I want, for the watercolor, I do want to leave a little bit of a gap between. You can just let your shapes connect if you want to. If you were going to do this in pencil, you would want to have, if you drew this in pencil, you guys, especially a hexagon. Okay, Kathy, thank you. JC, you're smart. You said hexagon too. Good. That was your math lesson for today. I tell you what, I helped Caden yesterday with volume of prisms and pyramids and all the shapes, and I was like, oh my gosh, what do we need to know this? I guess we needed to know at least hexagon for this. Okay, so we're going to make this hexagon shape, but anyways, what I started to say is If you all want to try this later and just do it lightly in pencil and then watercolor it the way that we're going to do this, it's beautiful. So I would leave a gap between all of my shapes to kind of leave a non-painted line. But anyways, we use the Sharpie just to get the drawing part out of it. But okay, so we're going to do this hexagon, which is 6 sides. So I'm going to start in the middle of this one here. Across, and we're going to do this all the way down his back. So it's going to come out to a point on that side and come out to a point on this side. And then we're going to close that in. Okay, so there's one side, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's not, mine's a little bit more rounded. Okay, so now I'm going to do another one of those right here. We're not looking for perfection on this at all. So I'm just going to put as many of these hexagons going down his back as I can. And then I'll fill in the rest of the space with these other shapes. It looks like my turtle's going to be turned just maybe he's kind of, this side is down farther and this side's up farther. So that can kind of show your shape. You always just tell somebody, oh, this is the perspective of it. If it's not perfectly shaped, you can come up with any story to explain your drawing. All right, this one's going to be a little wonky, but whatever. I just wanted to fit it in there. Okay, so now we're going to fill in all the rest of these spaces. This makes me want to kind of research sea turtles a little bit to see if all of them have the exact same pattern. If anybody knows that and wants to tell us about sea turtles, you go right ahead and tell us. But I would think that just like humans and our fingerprints and our everything about us, that there's no two people alike, that there wouldn't be any two sea turtles alike with the patterns on their back. I just fill in these spaces now with all of my shapes. This is the only reason I ever needed geometry. And who needs geometry to tell you how to fill in the shapes? So yesterday I helped Caden. I was helping him with some of his math, and we were doing volume and story problems. Story problems are just confusing. So he had a story problem yesterday. I'll tell you that in a minute. Let's finish drawing the sea turtle. I'll tell you my story. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go with his head first. So their head's a little on the boxy side. Almost like a, and then the nose points it out a little bit. So his neck's pretty thick. So I'm going to go straight out to where it's almost like a square here. And then I'm going to come in, not a pointed nose, but I'm going to round in so it's more rounded on the end. And then I'm going to put 2 turtle eyes right here on the bend. I don't like this drawing I picked. I don't think it's really showing us what we want to see. But anyways, and then I'm going to just do 2 little slits for the nostrils. Yeah, it's not my favorite. I'm going to make some lines across his neck, almost like wrinkles. I don't know. I wish I would have had a better picture ready. So anyways, it's good enough. So there's our sea turtle's head. We could so do this different. But anyways, it'll work. Okay. So now so sea turtles are different than land turtles in the way that they're land turtles would have feet, I guess. These have fins. So for the fins, and the front ones are bigger. So we're going to come to the side of our shell, just a little bit around our curve. And I'm going to make a little line straight out. And then I'm going to make a curve out and bounce around and come right down close to the point, the bottom point of my paper here. All right, then I'm going to come down farther, about 1 inch down, and I'm going to come in and just kind of make a wiggly line, and I'm going to connect it at the end. So there's one of my sea turtle. Caden, you did awesome. I like Caden's fins. He did really good. Can you see his? I'm way out here. I feel like my phone camera's not in the right angle for you guys. All right, so this one he can be swimming. So I'm going to make this one going ahead and tilting back so I don't have to go off my paper. which in reality, they're going to be moving, so their fins aren't necessarily going to be in the same position. Because if he's moving, he's moving. Them things are fast. When you try following them in the water, man, they go, if they know you're following them, they'll take off, and it's hard to keep up with them. All right, so now I'm going to make, so I made this one come down, and I tilted it down a little bit more. And then I'm going to wiggle this line. I'm going to come up and join it. All right, then their little back feet are like little paddles. So I'm going to come out down here, and then this one's a little shorter. And then I'm going to just wiggle across there. So there's his back fin, or his back little foot. And then I'm going to come down this way, and I'm going to come down about an inch, and then I come out a little, and then I'm going to wiggle across there and close it in. And then I'm just going to do a little sea turtle tail, a little point. All right, there is our sea turtle. Did you grab some salt, Caden?
No.
All right, so you guys can keep finishing drawing yours for a minute. And then we're going to do some fun colors. I wish I could find, because I had downloaded a picture off of Pinterest of a sea turtle, and it didn't download onto my pictures on my computer, but other stuff that I've downloaded did.
Maybe because
So
they're
that's
just
weird.
so cool, like download.
Yeah, I guess it didn't. It was just way too cool. I'm going to give you guys a minute just to draw here. I'm going to find another one really quick. So,
And there's this one.
thank you. We will use that in just a minute. As soon as you guys are kind of finished up with your, I'll be right back here. Sorry, I'm trying to, okay. There's this, I'm on Pinterest. There's a sea turtle made out of stepping stones. That doesn't help us. Whoops, that's not what I want.
Oh yeah.
You like that, Caden?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we should put
Sea
that in.
turtle
We should put that in.
painting.
Finding sea turtles.
There's the one. That's the one I was looking at. Oh, it's not going to let me download it because it was a link, not a picture. Really quick, what one do we see that would be fun to paint?
Oh, look at that one. All my colors.
Which one?
Ooh, that one and that one.
Yeah, we use so much blue and green. They're kind of a brown. Man, there's so many we could have done. So many pretty patterns. You guys could do, like the cats that we did, you guys could do some designs on his back if you wanted to. But we're going to do, let's see. Let me download that one. Yes, it's going to let me download. Okay, I got the picture that I had. That's what I wanted. All right, where's it at? Okay, so let's take this one off because we don't want that one. All right, so, okay, if you guys are ready to start painting, give me thumbs up and we will start painting. So the one I found is just really pretty, lots of bright colors. So the key is we want to kind of be careful that each of our sections in the turtle, you guys still drawing? I didn't see a thumbs up from anybody or a heart or anything. But if you guys are ready, okay, there we go. All right, so we're ready to start doing our section. So we're going to paint one section at a time. So I want you, with your brush, the first thing I want you is just get it wet without getting, I don't know if you connected your lines. If you didn't, just fill in that section with water. If you did connect your lines, when you do, I'll show you what we'll do here if you connected your lines, but hang on here. Let me get some color in here. So you're just going to add color in this. And you can make each one kind of the same. Got too much water. So be careful with too much water. But I want these to kind of have a little bit, I want them to be bright colors, but I also want to give us the idea that maybe the sea turtle's a little bit on the brown or green side. Now right now I did yellow and I did orange and I did purple. Okay. Now you can add little speckledy spots in it. But if you just connected all your spots, and you may not have, but if you did, but this is still what I'm going to do in between, is I'm going to use a really dark color, but I want this to dry because I don't want my paints to all bleed together, if that makes sense. If it does, I don't think on this one it's going to, I think it would look cool. So if they did, but if you want to keep it dry, go ahead and you can paint in between. So I'm going to do purple, a dark purple in between. You could do whatever colors you want, but I'm going to do this. Okay, I'll let that dry a little bit. I'm going to come back up to his body, or the rest of his shell. So now I'm going to just paint each section with water first. You messed up?
Yeah.
You used a little water. You can thin it out with water and clean it off. Remember?
How? But it's not water.
But if you use a clean brush and get some water on it and then take your paper towel and lift it off. It's just 'cause you didn't use much water to, whoops, I went there. You can lift it off with your paper towel. Try that first without even adding more water to it. You can clean off some of it. So anyways, okay, so I got some yellow. I'm starting in the middle. Water will lift up some of that color, is what I'm trying to tell you, Keaton. This one didn't get as wet. So you're going to paint each of your little sea turtles little mosaic pattern on his back. You could use some pink in it. I start with my lighter colors in the center and then go darker and come towards the edges. And then you can also dab some of your darker colors inside each one. Okay, is my head in the way? I don't know if it is or not. What size brush are you using? This size brush that I have is a round 4. It's one I use for my acrylic classes. It's not the one, so a lot of times, these are a little bit thicker. This is what comes in. This is a size, it doesn't say Crayola. This is the one that comes with the paints. It says size, but it doesn't, maybe it's a 7 and the lines are rubbed off. I don't have another one I can look at on that. But anyways, this is a round 4 is what this one is. So round brushes are good for watercolor.
It say the size of the paintbrush on the box?
No, it doesn't say nothing on the box, but on the side of it does. I think it's a 7 is what this one is. It's bigger than the 4, obviously. But anyways, Sheila, it's the one in my hand is a 4. So if you want to just, a round brush is, I think, good for watercolor, but when you're wanting to get small edges and you're doing small sections, the smaller the brush, it kind of gives you a little bit more control. And I just paint with the very tip. So I get my water and get my little section wet. There's no reason to really push down really hard with your paintbrush. Even if you're painting a big area. If you're usually easier to paint a big area with a bigger brush. So like for the water, I'll show you. Caden did all his with his big flat brush, which is another brush we use for my acrylic classes. It just helps you cover more space quicker. Okay, I'm not going to keep painting all the back on his shell because I want to show you They have a lot of texture on their fins too. They're not just necessarily solid. Okay, so what Caden's doing, I guess you can't see his because camera's not. He's got his background all painted before he painted his turtle, and he's putting salt on there. You won't really see what the salt does until it dries, but what it does is it soaks up the paint and it leaves this like cool pattern in your paint too. And I just thought of one other way we can do it too, Kaden. When you get a minute, go get the roll of saran wrap. You know what that is? Plastic wrap. And I'll show you another cool technique that would look really cool for water too. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the turtle's fins next. And I'm gonna start with painting it with water. I should have showed you guys the plastic wrap.
Is plastic wrap saran wrap?
Yes, I should have showed you guys that on something else that was already the final thing because again you gotta let it dry, but I will kind of show you something that kind of does cool.
Big piece?
No, just an order. Yeah, that'd be perfect. Okay, so the fin. Again, you guys can just kind of pick your colors.
Does it have to be perfect?
No.
Grab the two bottoms so it gets all the wrinkles.
It's fine. I don't need it yet. Okay, thank you. I gotta set it over here because I don't need it. Okay, that'll be good job. Thank you. All right. So I got his fin wet. So now when I put this paint on it, it just spreads out and it does its thing. And like I said, there's a pattern, a lot of a pattern on a sea turtle's fin. So I did darkest there and I'm gonna come lighter. And I'm still using kind of the same colors that I used for his shell. Because I know that my water's gonna have a lot of blue in it. So I wanted to stay away from that color. You can put greens, you can make it look green in here. So let's see. I'm gonna just show you a little green tint to this. I don't want to go too much because black and yellow will make green. I don't want the real bright green, and that was too much black. Here, we will do the bright green. Actually, I got some green on my tray. You guys can't see my paints, can you? Sorry about that. Man, we just kind of started off today with just a lot of hiccups, but it's working out. Okay, so now I put some of this turquoise blue on top of this to make some green, and I'm just dotting it all over to go ahead and give the turtle this pattern that he would have. They almost are like freckly. Okay, so I got green in there. Last little, I'm gonna do purple over here. My purple totally disappeared with my orange. So remember, darker colors are like your shadows. So like on the edge of stuff, it would give it more the look that it's rounded. All right, let me soak some of this up here and then I'm gonna add more purple in it. So see how much color that lifted off? So now I wanna add some more purple in that. Because it totally like vanished with my orange. All right. Okay. So I'm going to do the same kind of process of colors in the back foot here. Oh, look, your salt's already making texture on it, Caden. Cool. Oh, I like your green. Another place you could do purple right along his shell because that shell's going to cast a little bit of a shadow on his fin. I think this is why I liked watercolor so much, is because of all the cool things that you can make with this. If anybody else is watching and you guys haven't said hello, say hello to me. I want to know who's on here. So I do this, and if the first time you happen to come along this, so I do this every weekday, Monday through Friday, at 1 o'clock. We do different drawing in watercolor. Okay. All right, so I definitely want my fins to dry before I get into doing my water. Let's do his head next. I'm going to turn it this way so you can see his head. He has almost the same pattern like his back does on his head. Actually, all that stuff's on his fins. It's just smaller, so we didn't really do all of that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to, with my purple paint, I'm gonna paint shapes like connected with circles, and then I'll add other color inside. So almost like I'm doing the pattern on his back, but I'm using my paintbrush to paint all of those spaces. They're just like a freckledy looking thing. Okay. I want that to dry just a little bit because it's so small, before I do any other color in it, because I'm going to do color inside that. And if I try to do it now, it would just turn into one big blob. So I don't see a car, but you can check. We have a dog that's overly excited to greet anybody that comes in the driveway, and we're supposed to get cat food delivered. To the point he'll let come in, but anybody delivery wise, yeah, they're not. He'll run in front of their car, and especially when they leave. He's bad. Okay, so I'm gonna let that dry a little bit. Let's see. I will go do. I'll just do some more shapes on his back, because then I want to show you the water. I'm going to try not to let this one be. We were over an hour yesterday, which is fine. I know it's fine to be here painting, but man, it takes a long time for my videos to upload when they're that long. Plus, I know after a while, it's like, okay, I'm kind of bored with this. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not, but I didn't know if anybody else was. But anyways, I definitely don't want to get over an hour on these classes. And I kind of did yesterday. I think yesterday's was the longest one. What did we do yesterday? It was fun.
The swan.
Oh, the swan, yeah. With the Monet. I got too much water in that. With the Monet kind of setting for the swan. And we used crayons. Did you guys like yesterday's? I saw Kinsey and JC's. They did an awesome job. And their mom, Lori, you guys did great. Sometimes it looks kind of like tie-dye. Do you notice that, Caden? Oh, I love the green on your turtle's head. Very good.
Look at a shell.
Yes, good job. I do like the green in it, Caden.
Oh, yours like
Okay. Let me do the other fin, and then we'll do the water. Can you guys see how the salt is making all these almost like snowflakes look? But it gives the water some texture to it. You know what, Caden? What about his eyes? You need to paint his eyes white. He looks like he is swimming fast, and I like the little U shapes you did on his fins and heads. Good job. Yeah, he looks like he's like. Guess the streaks in your blue paint makes it look like he's like caught the. What is it in Nemo where he gets on the current? The current, yes. Looks like he's riding the current. Can you talk like him? Crush. Do you know how to talk like Crush? He talks like the Snow Creek guy too. Yo, dude. I can't do it. Caden's like, Mom. Yeah, bro. Got on the current and it went this way and then it went that way. There's a guy that at Snow Creek, the ski place around here, we found, I don't know where my husband found it, but it's funny. And he talks about, like
He found it on the news.
Oh yeah, he's on the news. I'm sure. But anyways, he talks about Snow Creek and he's like from Colorado and he's like talking about how.
No, he's from California.
Oh, California. And how awesome Snow Creek is. He's got long hair. It's really funny.
Just search up Snow Creek dude.
Snow Creek dude? Yeah, okay. So if you guys want to see him, search up Snow Creek dude. He's funny. It's like a surfer guy came to Missouri to ski and.
No, he snowboards in Colorado.
Oh, he's in California?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, obviously Cade knows way better than me, but anyways. All right. So I'm going to show you water next. Let me get this. Fin here. Okay, and why don't you go out and play with Bear a little bit right now? I don't know what he's up to, but I think he probably misses. This is his favorite weather, so he wants you to play with him. I hear him barking somewhere. Caden. All right, he can't hear me and I don't want to yell on here, so. Caden. So I'll make sure he's not at the neighbors. All right. His head's still wet. Okay, so now I'm going to show you, Caden, the water. And I want to show you this other technique with, so I'm just taking water and get my paper wet. Now I'm not going to go up around the fin that I just painted, but I'm going to go around the one that I haven't painted, so that way I don't get this color coming into my turtle. I can, if I do go along this turtle, I just don't want my water, and you can kind of tell by just getting more of the light. Caden, will you go play with Bear? Okay. Now I'm going to just add my color into this and let it spread and do its thing. Okay, so you guys can do whatever shades of blue, purple, whatever you want for your turtle, for the water. Depends on where he's swimming in the ocean. On what color. It depends on what's below your water. So is he swimming over a sandy bottom, or is there seagrass? That's where they like to hang out. But just a lot of different colors here. And Sheila, on this brush, this is just the one that came with the Crayola. It's a little bit better quality than the kind that usually come in some of the paint boxes. That is just a nice size. And I think, like I said, I think it says 7 on there. I can't tell for sure. But it's another round brush. But for a bigger area, it works. Caden likes to use that big flat one. Just when you're doing big areas, it just saves a lot of effort when you have a bigger brush. Learning the right brush size for what you're doing makes a big difference in painting. Or how much time you spend. The more the detail, the smaller the brush. All right, I do want to do a little bit of purple in this, but I'm just going to dot it in. All right. So I just kind of get one area at a time wet and work with it, because otherwise it would dry before I got to it if I tried to get all of it wet. But I want to show you with the saran wrap what you would do. So after this is all done, if you wait till your turtle's completely dry before you did your water, hang on, in the middle of a thought here, but I'm trying to get all this covered down here at the bottom. So it's just picking up a lot of different colors. But anyway, so once you have your whole ocean painted, and if your turtle's dry already and your water's still, or your paint's still wet on your ocean, you can take a piece of saran wrap and lay it on, and you can already see it leaves a texture just with it there. But if you let it dry like that, let's see what happens if I pull it up with it still wet. Okay, it doesn't leave a whole lot of a texture. It does kind of, but if you leave it on there and let it dry, it's going to give some texture to your water that's kind of cool. That may look like a little bit like the ripples in the water where it picks up. Do we put salt on the water before the paint? No, you do it after. Sorry, I didn't even look up to see that. You want to do it after you paint it, because then once it's your paint's on there, it's wet, sprinkle it with salt, and then the salt will absorb the wet paint, and it leaves all these little white or lighter colors, okay? Or you can do the saran wrap. You do want your turtle to be dry, unless you don't care if it has some texture on it too. It may be okay because the turtle's under the water too. So we may just do the whole thing. So actually, I'm gonna take this off, and I think that's what I'll do, is I'll sit here and finish painting. If you guys want me to be in here with you, what time is it? 1:45. We'll just see what we get done. Maybe we'll have the turtle done. But anyways, that paper or that saran wrap will leave a really cool texture to it. And then you'll be surprised when you take it off. So water picks up lights and shadows, and as it ripples, it has all these different lines in it. Oh, I love like being at a pool and watching the water in the pool when it makes all the lines and the white sun shining on the water and like diamonds all over the place. I'm dreaming of summer. This weather is something else. I'm ready for it to be warm again. We're kind of spoiled. Next week looks nice. Did you know by next week we'll almost be to the end of May or April, and then it'll be May. And then we have a chance of snow Friday night. Who would have thought that? Well, I'm not surprised. This is Missouri. So I'm going to get some more paint on this over here, since I kind of absorbed it all with my saran wrap. Being real careful not to really get my paint right up against the other paint, because it will pull those colors right together. Oh, at the beginning I told you, if you draw this turtle with a pencil with a really light line and you watercolored it without the Sharpie line and you did pencil, and then after everything's dry you can erase the pencil, then it's just it really is an awesome painting. So you can do it that way too. I just like the bold lines, especially when we're learning. It's a good way to teach drawing. But you guys can take off and you'll be teaching your own classes before long. I think my turtle head's about dry. So I'm going to go back and get that too. Now you could do, so when this is dry, you could make like the turtle to give a little bit of a 3D. You could almost repeat. Well, let's use a darker. Let's take my purple. You could almost make like you're making a little bit of a shadow down in the water of him on one side, okay, because he's going along. So I just making my water darker on this side. Because he's casting a shadow down in the ocean floor, okay? So I added my purple to that. Now it's got a dark blue. I won't do that over here on this side because this is the side that my light would be coming from. Getting a little sloppy here, painting right on his head. Almost done with my water here. And then I'll go back and do some more on my turtle. Watching the time, 1:50. We'll see if we can get this. About 10 more minutes. So tomorrow, yesterday I think I told you, I thought we were doing a draft today, but I forgot. And I looked at the write-up. And so it was a Turtle Tuesday. See, Turtle Tuesday. We didn't even put that on there. But anyways, Caden likes to match them up to the names. But then it's like, well, there's other stuff. So tomorrow is the celestial sun and moon, which is really fun. This is where you guys get to get creative with it. Making it your own. So that's tomorrow. And then Thursday is the giraffe. And Friday... Oh man, Friday is what? I can't even remember. It will come to me. I'm going to turn this around this way. I'm going to get this. Go back to my... After seeing this, I refuse to show you my watercolors. Whatever. Are you watercoloring, Debbie? Don't refuse to show me that. Then you should be taking these classes with me. Obviously, you're learning from the wrong teacher, Debbie. You should know that. I'm probably breaking all the rules. I'm sure whoever's taught you watercolor, they would probably be like, that lady has no idea what she's talking about. Because I probably don't. I just know how to play. And I know how much fun colors are when they mix. You should know that about me. But anyways. You know I don't judge. Debbie, I would love your watercolor. Okay, there's my little turtle. Let me do his little turtle tail. It's dark because you can't see much of it. It's not really. All right. Now I'm going to go do his head. Let's see. I'm going to add, we'll do Carney Bulldog. Maybe from Carney, maybe not. And add yellow into my spots. And then I may just do a little bit of an orange. It kind of turns a little on the green because the purple's kind of a bluish color. So the yellow with the purple kind of makes it a little bit of a green color. Then I'm going to take a little of the orange. Remember the classes Toddy and I took last summer? The instructor from hell. Okay, sorry. Well, I'm teaching now, so you can redeem yourself. Everybody just has a different style, right? I do remember that. So are you still watercoloring, Debbie, or just is it from what you did last summer? I just don't feel qualified to teach watercolor because I've never taken lessons. It's just like, oh, this looks like fun. Let's try this. All right, there's my polka dotted turtle's face. All right, so now I'll go and keep working on, what time is it? 1:53. I'm not probably gonna have time to finish this and show you. So what you would do, so on the saran wrap or the plastic wrap, when you get it all painted, but I'm afraid it's gonna dry. I don't think it'll work. It needs to be, because by the time I get my turtle painted, the whole thing's gonna be dry and then the saran wrap won't work. So really what you need to do, if you're gonna do the saran wrap, you need to paint your turtle completely and then paint your water. And when your water's wet, you put your plastic wrap on your water and then just let it dry, or just let it stay on there till it dries, okay? So I'm just gonna do that, because the wetter the watercolor is on your paper, the more texture it's gonna have. So I'm not gonna be able to do all of it, because I know, look, the turtle's eye just bled right out onto my water. That's all right. It's some of the reef down there, or fish, yeah. Oh, that's another thing. Those turtles had suckerfish on them that rode around on their backs. I don't know what kind of fish they were, but that was cool too. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, I saw it.
When you did? Yeah. So
I saw a stingray and one of those fish that is like flat and it has the one eye on that one side.
The barracuda, the ones that swim at the surface, the long skinny ones.
No, the fish, it like that. It has its eye. So here,
I don't know what it was.
So the fish.
Where was it at? Around other fish or just around the reef?
Whenever we went on the.
We saw lionfish, which are amazing to eat, by the way. We would go to a restaurant, get all you could eat lionfish on Friday nights, and it was amazing. You get it fried or grilled. And I like the grilled. The fried was good too, but grilled was amazing.
The fish just has the one eye on that side, and it doesn't have an eye on the other side.
You sure it didn't have an eye on the other side?
No, it has the two eyes. It's two
Where
eyes.
it's a fake eye and it makes it look like an eye?
Yeah, like there are two eyes on the same side.
Okay.
The fish.
I don't know what kind they were.
And there's one in Nemo.
There is?
Yeah, on Nemo. Yeah.
All right, you gonna go play with Bear? Yeah. All right, thank you for your help. Hayden is a man who comes in and gets stuff done, and then he's off to play. All right, well, I'm gonna let you guys go. It's 1:56, but anyways, thank you for hanging out. I hope you guys got some good painting out of this one. It was fun. I like sea turtles, but I don't, like I said, I don't want my classes going over an hour. So I will say see you tomorrow, and you guys enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. It's supposed to be a little nicer out. It's still cold. There's still a wind, but it's definitely better than yesterday. And tomorrow's supposed to be a little warmer. Then we won't talk about Thursday and Friday. And then it's going to start warming up on the weekend again, and next week's going to be glorious. But we'll still be here painting, because we're going to do it every day till probably school's out. And then I got some fun things coming up for you guys in the works for probably be starting some things maybe early May, maybe if I get it together well enough. So still just kind of learning some things and trying to get some things figured out. But I want to continue to have painting online available for you if you want it, or for those that don't live close to me. I will definitely be having classes again in the studio once we can get back together. I cannot wait. I miss everybody. I had intended to do some maybe summer art camps for kids. Not for sure how that's going to work at this point yet, because I don't want to get too much time and supplies and planning and then find out that we can't do it. So I'm not sure. So that's why I'm really working on learning some online things. So be watching. If I don't have your email, I know I asked for it. Debbie, I know I got your email. Thank you for confirming that I could add you to a new email list that I have. So I get emails from everybody that has signed up from classes through Eventbrite, but those are technically Eventbrite's emails. They're not really mine. I can't just, oh look, everybody that's paid for a class and gave the email through Eventbrite, I can start sending emails from my own platform. I can't do that. That's not legal. So anyways, if you guys want to be on my email list and I don't already have that permission from you, just private message me your email and I'll add you on that. I promise. I will not spam you. I don't have time to do anymore. I'll be lucky. I'm already kind of freaking out. Will I even be able to send out one email a week with what's going on? With just giving you some maybe fun painting techniques, with updates of what's coming up, with things that you can do that are more than what we're doing right now. So anyways, if you want that, be sure to private message me your email. That way I can add to that. And so we should be working on that a little bit this week with my niece who is helping me with a lot of that stuff. So anyways, you guys enjoy your day, and it is 1:59. Thanks for hanging out. If you're watching the replay, be sure and say something on it so that I know that you were there. And we will see you tomorrow to do our celestial sun. And I don't know where it went. I would show it to you again, but I don't see it. So anyways, we'll talk to you later. Thanks for hanging out today and painting.